pretty good software. So we are live. There we go. Hey, what's
Heck
up,
yeah.
everybody? It is Gene Fetty back at you with another episode of the All Access podcast from the Auto Appearance Institute. This is number 37. I'm excited for this one because I'm really excited for this event. We are talking the Hail Expo 2025. We're going to talk to you, tell you what it's all about. It's a special live edition. We almost never do live. We're just recorded, but I figured, hey, we'll throw it out live tonight, see if we get some live interaction, see if we can get some comments, some questions. But without further ado, I'll introduce you to my co-hosts. We've got immediately to my side here, we've got Noah from DentOps, sponsor and one of the three of us that are putting this thing together. And then Mr. Hampton on the other end with that beautiful, strong beard. Even if it's a little gray, dude, we love it. We're all getting there. It's like a badge of honor. So anyways, guys, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for coming on. Thanks for having me be part of getting the expo back up and running. It's been quite a few years since we've had one. I think. Well, anyways, let's jump into a little bit of the history of the expo, and then we'll talk about this one. So, Ryan, man, am I correct in thinking that the first one was when you had the Hail Company and you had that office location in St. Louis?
Yes.
Was that the first one?
Yeah, it was what at least brought on the idea of the Hail Expo. I know back in the 10 years ago, a lot of the Hail companies or the PDR companies that did Hail would have these tech meetings. Dent Wizards, CSIs, those guys, they would get together once a year. Some of them would have an MTE. It was basically an event where they would get together with the technicians and say, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do.
Sort of the crew they work with or the crew they were looking to work with.
Both, yes. And this is how, these are our expectations, whether it's insurances, what app we're using, how we do business. And then we would get feedback. They would get feedback from the technicians on what they like to see in a company that they work with. At least that's what I did it. So I had one in St. Louis and gosh, it had a great turnout, more than I was just kind of humbled by how many people showed up there.
I remember I literally hopped, you told me about it, and I hopped in my truck and drove to St. Louis. Like, I was like, well, we're going to go see what this is all about.
It was good. It was like the first tech meetup in a way. And so that kind of was hand in hand with the Dents for Kids we did that year that John Hiley started, and we tried it a couple times. And it just seemed like every time you put an event together that more and more people were showing up and they liked it. And if you look at the tech events now, the meetups, they're great. Anson has their event. Of course, MTE grows every year. Yeah. You do a Dents for Kids. I know Andy Patrick does, and a few other guys, and they're well represented by the community. So that kind of gave it a thought, like, hey, this is kind of cool. Getting guys together. Why not do one a little more dialed in or towards the Hail side of the business? So we did a Hail Expo. We called it the Hail Expo, and we had two of them in St. Louis, and both of them were incredible. And it was
that was great. I got to speak at both of them. The first one was I think it was we were in the middle of renovating my original shop, and you had me out coming as a speaker, and then we found the shop. It was sort of a last minute thing, and me and my buddy Charlie Shane drove out and then like ran out of the event after I spoke. I'm like, all right, see you guys. I think it was the first time I met your wife.
Yeah, you were in and out really fast, and I told my wife, I'm like, hey, there's Gene and Melissa.
That was it.
There we go.
And then the 2019 was the big one, man. That was like a 2-day event, wasn't it?
It was a 2-day event, yes.
That was great. And tool trucks, a bunch of speakers. That Gene guy was okay.
Gene was awesome.
That's actually where I got to meet Chris White from Kiko officially. Started my whole Kiko journey there. And that's really, I think, what we're modeling this event after is more, the last Hail Expo pre-COVID.
Yes.
And that's what we're going for. And that was a great networking event. The speaking content really was great. Learned a lot, picked up a bunch of stuff from there. And then, of course, the networking. I can't tell you, as we're building this up, I can't tell you how many people have messaged me or just through conversation. They're like, man, Tom Poland, I think that may have been the first time I officially met him, was in St. Louis at that Hail Expo. And man, he's in my 20 group. We've become really good friends. The Christiansens were there. Like, it was good. One guy I talked to is still working for the same crew of guys that he met at that show. So that's, 5-6 years of business that people are that were created out of the expo. So
yeah, it's really interesting you said that, because I know you and Chris got together on the Kiko side of things, and all of the content you try to put into one of these events, you start off with, like this year, for example, before I reached out to you two, I had put some notes in my group saying, hey, we're thinking about doing this again. Who do you want to hear from? What kind of content do you want? Because the idea is to spread the information. The more educated your competition is, or your network, the better off everybody is, and then so people are saying, I'd like to hear Matt Moore talk. DentOps put on a great one. Noah did an amazing job at MT. I'd love to hear from him again. And Gene's always mentioned too. And so we're asking those questions. It's kind of hit or miss, and kind of seeing if the interest is out there. And I really wasn't sure if the interest was fully there, because everybody's working right now. Plus, it's the middle of the hail season, which has really never been done before.
right, yeah, that's a little different mix, because it was always pre-hail season.
Yes. So you try to feel out what people want to hear. And then, I forget, Henry Ford said if you asked people what they wanted back then, they would have said a faster horse when he was building the car.
Yeah.
So you take what they say and you put it into your brain, and you bring people like Noah and Gene, Gene's still always on the cutting edge of everything new. And Noah, I wish he would have been around in 2019, but today's day and age, there's new stuff that people need to hear. And so you go to these events with this kind of content being in mind to distribute, to add the wealth of knowledge to this event. And then you don't ever forget that the networking, because you do meet people like Chris. And so many people have said, dude, that event, listening to you ramble, Hampton, that was cool and all, but the guys that I met at the after hours, the networking, so many relationships were built from that. And that's a huge piece of it. That's really kind of, people that are there, they get it, but people that are not there, that are going to be doing the online, like, they don't understand the value that just, you see it at MTE. But if you're a hail specific technician, or a company that wants to grow in the hail when their markets are hit, this is the event. It really is. So having you, Gene, and Noah on this is just more value to it. And that's kind of where it started at. And you started with the tech meetup. Then you see the hail specificness of it, and you keep bringing other people in that brings value to the people there. And then the network, to me, it's a no-brainer of an event to attend.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm really excited for that. And that is, like, with so many events in our industry, the networking is just so incredibly valuable, right? You can learn right here. You could get set up on a storm, right? And be that guy who works for a hail crew for the next 6 years. You could meet somebody like a Chris White and change your whole professional career, right? Mm-hmm. Right in that one meeting. You could sit down and talk to somebody like Noah and learn better ways to write vehicles, to make your entire business more profitable, and let alone striking up a friendship, right? If we throw business aside, so many technicians operate really on an island, right? Where you're sort of out there and you're by yourself and you're alone. I've got more friends around the country than in my hometown, right? From the networking and the event, and going to things like this, or MTE, or the PDR Expo, and meeting, like-minded people. It's, I really just don't think you can beat the networking aspect of it at all. Yeah. So there's a little bit of the history. Noah, guys, Noah's a little bit of a sleeper, man. This guy's a stud.
Not anymore. He's not.
No, when it comes to planning and execution, Noah, you've been absolutely knocking it out of the park.
I
and
appreciate it.
helping to get this
Yeah,
thing going.
he's been leading this whole thing. Like we brought him in as, hey, do you guys want to do this? I'm thinking about doing it, but can't do it myself. I mean, I'm busy, y'all are busy. I think you two bring more value than anybody I could think of. There's plenty of others, but just paying attention to you two and bringing Noah in was guy's a genius on the marketing level, on the
Everything.
technology, you name it. I mean, AI, the estimating, the estimatics, the understanding what a Hail business needs.
Smart dude.
Like he
Yeah.
could have 10 different hail companies if he wanted to, but he's basically created a program or a company that plugs into every company out there to make them better. So, and he has been just every day it's in their messages, Noah's done this, Noah's done that. I'm like,
Yeah. Makes me feel like a
we
slacker.
should call this the DentOps Expo is what it should be
Yeah,
called.
right.
And
Yeah.
it might be
Yeah.
one day, but yeah, Noah's been amazing.
Yep, for sure. So Noah, why
Thanks,
don't you
guys.
take us into a little bit of what this expo looks like and sort of what we're bringing to the table, what this year looks like.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely. So I'm super excited to be a part of it, and I am bummed that I didn't come to the other ones. I mean, I was still in the industry. I just wasn't doing DentOps at that time. I don't even know why. Like, I think my dad was even at the Hail Expo. So I don't know what I had going on at that time. It was probably on some like R&I gig or something.
Yeah, I was going to say you were an R&I guy. You were probably tearing
I was an
headlines,
R&I
dude.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what it was. And actually, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about the Hail Expo too. But one of the things I wanted to mention was when we were traveling for work, so my dad, I'm second generation in the PDR industry, right, and into hail repair especially. So I was growing up, my mom would load me and my siblings up, and we would go take our camper and we'd go to wherever dad was working, and we'd hang out with dad in the summertime, right? And one of the things getting into the industry and working is you're always looking at opportunity cost, right? This is our season of opportunity. What is the cost of us not being here, right? If you leave and go on a vacation, or you try to go and do something else, or whatever it is, there's the opportunity cost if you're not fixing dents. What is that worth? And so that's been something that's really been drilled into me. And so with this Hail Expo being in the middle of hail season, that's one of the things that I've been trying to be really conscientious of, is you have these technicians and these companies who have an opportunity cost to come to the event, even though we're making it free, right? It's free to attend. There's also the cost of travel and the time cost, and what could you be doing with that time? So for me, as I've been thinking through things and trying to work through and helping just in general with both of you guys, it's been like, how do we make the speaking and the information and the networking and the value that's provided by the event just make it such a no-brainer that it's like, no, the opportunity cost is to not come to the event. You are missing the opportunity if you do not come to the event. And at the very least, trying to create the accessibility for like the virtual attendance, which appreciate you being able to help with that, Gene, because I honestly know nothing about the streaming or anything. So that definitely takes all kinds. It takes a village to host a Hail Expo. So
No doubt.
I'm excited about that. But so that's been my mentality going into it, is how do we just put everything together in such a way that it's like everybody who goes to this thing is going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I went to that. And not just for this year, but for ideally every year thereafter. I know we've all had a lot of conversations about it. It's like, I'd like to make this help make this a really cool thing that people are just excited to keep coming back to, and they can look back and, like they already have, and look at the connections that they've made and look at the takeaways that they've brought, and really be able to wow, I learned something at the Hail Expo that changed the trajectory of my career, or that changed the trajectory of my business. So yeah, I mean, I can get into any specifics on anything, but that's just generally been my mentality in going into it. So
yeah, well, I can assure you that, right, that the event's going to be that level of good. I promise. Yeah. I mean, if we just look at the speakers that are coming, right? Forget about the tool opportunity, forget about the networking opportunity. We just talk about the presenters that are coming in, right? It's, I'm going to talk about marketing and smarter ways to market your storm, market your local storm. Yeah. And with the value of claims today, I was just talking to Keith Cosentino yesterday. We were talking, and it almost feels like, I don't know if it's the cars changing, a little inflation, whatever it is, cars that didn't pay all that well, not all that many years ago, today, written correctly. I guess we've probably gotten better at writing cars. Companies like DentOps have helped us learn better ways to do it. It's so valuable to be able to bring these leads, right? Turn these leads into repairs, into dollars, right? So my speech, my talk alone could more than cover all your costs if we help you get one more car.
Exactly.
Then we've got Matt Moore coming. Literally every time that guy talks, I learn something new, right? Whether we're going to dinner or he's coming in and giving a speech or we're presenting together at MTE. Man, Matt is just one smart cookie.
I'm so excited to hang out with him, like legitimately. I texted him a little bit after the Dent Nerd show because I've never got to spend a whole lot of time with him, but every time we have kind of had in passing, he seems like such a genuine dude.
Really
that
is.
It's like I'm pretty stoked. I'm excited, even just with the people who we've talked to so far. I'm like, this is gonna be, even if nobody else showed up, even if it was like 7 people, I'm like, this is gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be a good weekend.
It's not. I will say we're already over 25% RSVP'd at this point.
Oh,
so
awesome.
and I was expecting that like most people are just gonna show up. So I am at this point extremely confident we are going to be at capacity or over capacity. So just putting that out there into the ether. It's probably important to RSVP anyways.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I like it. And the people that we have a wealth manager talking. A lot of people think they don't need to talk to that guy. It's amazing what a good S corp and a guy that's talking to you about how to invest your money wisely. It's 45 minutes. It's well worth the listen. You got insurance guy coming, but outside of that, it's all PDR related stuff. And for me, what I'm going to be talking about in my times is obviously my network of the technicians and what I'm doing nationwide with Hail. But also there's a fine balance between writing a sheet to the moon and underwriting it, and then understanding who you're working for. If you're working at a body shop, they have DRPs. You got to be smart. And if you have conversations with them about, hey, this is how we write estimates. This is how I wrote them all last year, the year before. How do you feel about these estimates? And they're going to say, well, their DRP might not want 25% on this, but that's okay. If you show them the whole picture of what you do, they're going to be like, wow, I didn't know about that. Because everybody wants to make money, but everybody should also want to be fair. And there's the line there. If you get it straight, it's a great business model. So I think a lot of people don't understand that you see people standing their ground on stuff that you can let go a little bit, and then they might say, hey, we couldn't get you $10 here, but you left $200 on the table over here. Like there's a way to be smart, whether you're dealing with insurance companies, body shops, or even customers for that matter. So I think the lineup of speakers that we have here it's gonna smooth all that out. I think it's gonna be a perfect fit for everybody.
Yeah, I like that it's not that there's anything wrong with any of my PDR people that speak.
No.
But it's nice it's kind of cool to be reaching outside of that space, right? Like you said, we've got the wealth management gentleman. We've got the insurance agent, right? Because it's like you can spend a lot of money. You also need to be properly insured.
And he's not just an agent. He writes PDR, insurance, garage keepers, workers comp, general for PDR guys around the country.
Nice.
He's been doing it for a long time. There's another guy. There's the last one. I don't know what happened to him, but he was a referral from a friend. But this guy, that's all he does, specifically PDR. So nobody's going to know your business model other than him.
That's cool.
I like you were saying, Gene, I love that there's a diversity that's kind of across the whole picture. It's not just we're going to come in here and we're going to talk about tools, and we're going to come in here and we're going to talk about like your PDR business in general, or locking down accounts, or it's like all across the whole spectrum. Like if you are in the PDR industry, a technician, or you're a company, in any case, there's something you're going to be able to take away from all of these people. Like I even have people asking me about insurance sometimes. I don't know anything about like the workers' comp, or I had it for when I was doing the work myself, but I can't tell you who to go to. So that kind of a thing is like being able to protect yourself, being able to keep more of the money that you make rather than spending it is probably kind of important, especially if you want to have any kind of a retirement plan.
Yes.
So just all across the board. Then we got Paul Corden, which I think he might talk about some stuff with body shops also and some body shop accounts. And then we have Hail Trace, which is for anybody who doesn't know, Hail Trace does hailstorm mapping, which is storm mapping in general with wind and hail. And we use them every single day at DentOps, and it's a pretty powerful tool. And they've been doing some amazing things. They were at a previous event too, right? Is that correct?
Yes, they came to the Hail Expo, and they also came to another event we had down at MTE. It was a tech meeting down there, and they spoke down there, and they gave the forecasts on both of them. They gave us the hail forecast. So this one, that of course hail season's here, but he's going to touch base on what the forecast looks like for the remainder of the year, because there's always the fall storms. So he's going to put together a fall forecast for us also this year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I remember his talk at I think it was the 2019 Expo. Dude is so smart, and it's just fascinating what they see and how the weather works. You know, why Denver gets hit and why the DFW Metroplex makes its own weather. I mean, it's just really fascinating stuff as a semi-weather nerd myself, right?
Yeah, he's come along. I remember when he first.
And Ryan's gone. There's what he's talking about. So I'm sure he was saying, I remember when he first came on the scene. So we'll get him off of there. And then when he comes back in, we'll add him in. The beauty of a live show, folks. Anyways, so yeah, Derek with Hail Trace is going to be on. That's going to be great.
Got Air Pro.
So, right. Thanks for the Yeti. I am an Air Pro customer. To talk about scanning, why it's so important.
As well.
I just had a great conversation with one of my body shops that uses AirPro, and having them right from the OE approved side of things, right? OE approved software, OE approved technicians or certified technicians that run it, and knowing when you need to calibrate things, when you need to have calibrations done. And I learned some stuff about calibration that I wasn't aware of that has me thinking a little bit differently about calibration and when we're doing hail, right? I mean, it was as simple as like, if you loosen this bumper, right, you should calibrate these cars. And you know, I'm not going to speak specifics, but like, man, that's one, liability. But two, right? Scanning can also be a profit center, right? It's it's part of what it takes to bring the car back to pre-loss condition. And you know, Ryan, like you were saying, and you know, Noah, how DentOps does, like doing things right and make sure you're dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's and bringing the car back. You know, that $10 that Ryan's guy wants to argue about, right? When we could potentially be leaving $500 or $800 in calibration off the mark, right? Like that's stuff that we really need to look at. And I'm excited for AirPro to get there. And man, we've been using them for almost 2 years now. The customer service has been absolutely top notch. The follow-up, even the technicians on the phone, we've ran into problems on a couple of cars with, you know, wiring issues. The depth that they'll go to help you is just, I can't say enough great things about AirPro. So I was super excited that they're going to send a representative out, and he's going to talk to us about scanning and ADAS and why that's all so important. So,
Did I lose you guys there for a minute?
Yeah, you were gone. You're back now.
My phone rang and I went to hit X, and I guess so. I just put myself in airplane mode. My phone never stops ringing. I know you know that. So
yeah,
not a bad idea. I'm putting myself on do not disturb.
right.
But I was just mentioning that Hail Trace has come such a long way to where from a one-man band with him and his wife Leah to I don't know how many people they have. In fact, I was asking AI some questions about APIs for some AI I was talking to you about, Noah, and it literally suggested Hail Trace.
Oh, that's cool.
Which was really cool to plug in API to do what we're thinking about doing. And Yeah, it's amazing. But one other thing I wanted to touch on, because I don't want to forget this. When you mentioned opportunity and, is it worth going? We also schedule this as a time. I've been doing this a long time. And usually by late July, it's like musical chairs. Everybody better be in a spot, right? So by
Hmm.
July 18th, 19th, you're going to be in a spot for the most part, or you're not. You missed your spot. So you could also use a little bit of a break because you're not going anywhere. A couple days away, the cars aren't going anywhere. It's central to the country. It's 10 minutes from the St. Louis airport. You're in the Midwest where most people are working. It's the perfect, I won't say it's a vacation spot because it is the state of misery, but
It's a
you're you're
break.
you're central to the whole country, and they literally
Mhm.
you can fly almost anywhere nonstop to St. Louis cheap, and it's a nice venue too. It's really a beautiful venue.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would say, that opportunity cost, sort of as you were hinting, Noah, like there's an opportunity cost in not coming for sure.
definitely.
Yep.
But like take a weekend off. Your shoulders probably need it anyways.
Hmm.
You may miss you could miss the uh, meet up Friday night and still get there Saturday.
Yeah.
Fly in Friday evening
Yep.
after you're done working. The expo is just on Saturday and fly back on
Hmm.
Sunday, right? Like
But there is the Friday night networking is going to be a good event. I'll say that. And
It is going to be good.
Saturday night, if your wife's not sure if she wants you to go, Jason Aldean is in concert right
yep,
next door. So
yep. And I think there's a shuttle from the casino
yes.
to the concert venue. So
Yeah, it's Hollywood Casino, and Jason Aldean is playing at the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. So
Hmm.
it's right on site. So
Yep.
nice.
July 18th, 19th.
yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
it'll be very, very exciting. It's going to be one of the things that I want to keep mentioning too is the benefit to newer technicians, especially, or who are considering getting into hail chasing. Because like I'm at this cool place in my life also where I have new younger friends who are breaking into hail chasing, who maybe have started at a local company and they're like, okay, I want to chase the hail, for the opportunity and everything. And the network aspect of things can be really, really tough. When you're newer into the industry, and I know Ryan, you've been actually super influential for a lot of people who are looking to expand their network. It's all about who you know and how
Hmm.
you get onto different deals and opportunities. And if you never leave your bubble, like we were talking about earlier, you're not going to expand your bubble, right? And so I know at this point, like my dad and other people who I got to work with in getting raised up in this industry, they got a vast network. It's not difficult for them to find work. But on the flip side, I have other, family members even who, my brother-in-law, who my dad trained, he kind of had to start from scratch. And Ryan, you met Ian, who I used to partner with for R&I. It was a similar type of a thing. He got the
Hmm.
benefit of doing R&I and expanding his network like that too. But a lot of people don't have that kind of a benefit if you're just breaking into the industry and you didn't get brought in by like a family member or something. And you need to create that network. And events like this are really, really good opportunities to do that, not just to go find shops that you might work for, but to find other technicians that are like, hey, let me kind of like link up with you, and you've been maybe doing this for a little bit longer, and maybe there's an opportunity for me to come in and help out at maybe lower volume or higher volume or
Hmm.
whatever kind of an operation. So events like this are critical, and like I said, I'd love for people to be able to look back just like you guys were talking about earlier and be like, wow, that was a really, really invaluable opportunity to come out there and connect with like-minded people who are doing things that I want to do, and get really a good startup in the industry.
Yeah, and that's probably the number one piece of advice that one that I've given, and two that I hear given to those new techs or the techs that are new to the hail game that want to try it out. What's this like? You're like, what do I do? What do I do? How do we make it happen? Network, right?
Yeah.
You have to network and meet people, and there's no better place than an event like this, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
being a hail centric event, right?
Yeah.
Those people that can put you to work are going to be there, right? Stop, make a connection, and get a chance, and then go prove yourself and build your network.
Hmm.
If you
Yep.
think about it, there's a couple of things to think about. If you're in the hail business, and I'm in the hail business, and you guys are in the hail business, if there's a Hail event going on somewhere, which there's not, I'm going. Because if somebody said, "Hey, there's this guy that's doing this event in Las Vegas next month, and he's going to be talking about how Hail techs interact with each other," like, I'm curious already. Not to mention what we're doing, which is 100 times more than that. So if you go back to and you think about it like this, if you're a new technician, not today, let's say 92, 93, right? I think Hail PDR started really mainstream in the United States, 87, 88 for the first guys. If you go to 93, 94, if you've got a few thousand PDR guys in there, in order to get a Hail gig, if you will, you were getting fax reports faxed to you before the internet, and you're reading them, Sedgwick County, Wichita, Kansas, and you're driving from Springfield, Missouri to Wichita, Kansas to see if the dealership have Hail, and you're the only guy there. Like, and you're going there, or somebody else beat you to it, and you're trying to, you guys, nobody wants to tell you where they are. Well, Todd Zimmerman told me about 10 years ago. Todd Zimmerman said there are no more secrets in the Hail business. Like, if it hits, everybody knows. So you fast forward to today, we don't have to worry about fax machines. We have Hail Trace, we have SPC, we have these different ways, different levels of, like, you can look at SPC and see where the reports are, or you can go to Hail Trace and see a lot, like the neighborhoods, the communities, the demographics. There's so much you can learn, and then you go even further and say, we have the opportunity to have technicians and business owners that have 30 years of experience in the Hail business right now, speaking on stage to the new guys that weren't there for us back in the 90s and early 2000s. You didn't have 30-year veterans. We're the first generation of Hail technicians and PDR technicians that are seeing people retire from the business. So
Right.
there's so much information, and then you take the tools and the lighting and the way. I had a guy with a hood yesterday locally here that wants to learn how to fix dents, and he's got a little mini light with a LED board, and I give him a little rod. Smart kid, very smart kid. I'm only saying that because he's listening. Maybe, no, I'm kidding. He's a smart kid, and I give him a hook and just a Hail rod, and he's pushing on a dent, and I hit the center of the circle, and then hit the X, and don't drag your tool, just push it to where dude hits the nail dead center. Like, and I haven't done that for 15 years, but before with the lights, I'm making my example, or my reason is things are so much different now. If there's a Hail event with this many people there, you got to go. Like, there's so much more to learn from the people with their experience, and, like, of course, the tools and the guys that are there. It's just that, and the people in the crowd as well. Like, they're going to ask Gene a question that's going to make Gene think live on stage.
Right.
Watch him go. What does Gene know? That's a great question, and watch Gene problem solve it based on the knowledge he has.
Yep.
So yeah, the new people could benefit from this so much, so much.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. If you're a newer tech thinking about becoming a Hail tech, hitting the road, if you don't go to this, man, you're missing out. Your opportunity cost is through the roof to not show up.
Yes, 100%.
Without a doubt. Man, I would even encourage non-Hail people to, and Matt sort of talked about this on the Dent Nerds, where he was like, does this make sense? He's not a Hail guy. His business isn't even Hail centric. Doesn't make sense. The networking alone, again, and maybe I hate to sound like we're beating a dead horse, but the networking alone and the speakers are valuable to anybody in the PDR industry, right? I would encourage you, even if you're not a Hail tech or Hail centric, that this kind of event is invaluable to the PDR industry as a whole. And
guaranteed or your money back.
Exactly right. We will 100% of
100%
your
money back.
in-person ticket. But it's the honest to goodness truth that just being able to go to an event like this and network with other like-minded techs, be it Hail or not Hail, is unreal. So there's a little shout out to
heck yeah,
Nick. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, welcome
really
aboard.
Hey, Nick, I got the new double spring knockdown, the double spring shock blocker. Might be my favorite one so far. I'm only a couple days into testing it, but I'm digging it. So love it. And the new Stormbreaker from Dent Vision. That thing's trippy. I've never had a softer slide hammer, but it still pulls hard. It's almost weird, but it's very easy on the shoulder. So little shout out. A little heavier spring in there. It is. Anyways, shout out to Nick with Dent Vision Tools. Super smart guy and a great guy as well.
Heck yeah.
So we've gone over some speakers. Let's talk about that networking event Friday night. You know what everybody has seen that, July 19th is the day, and what are we, 9 to 6, I think is what we ended up on time wise for Saturday. Is that right?
Something like that. Yeah. Right around there.
Somewhere
They give us
thereabouts.
some leeway there. They know that there's nothing going on that night. The union workers aren't going to be waiting for us to leave to stack the chairs. If we run till 7 or 8, I don't think it's going to be a problem if people are hanging out afterwards talking and going and look at the tools. And there's actually an inspection tent before I forget. Right, Noah? Or a
Mhm.
light,
Yeah.
a light tunnel on site.
A couple of things, yeah. We'll have a couple in terms of like inspection and scanners and stuff like that. Some of the cool tech stuff that we'll announce as we have some more details ready here over the next week or so.
Nice.
But yeah, the network event, Gene, is to answer your question. I don't remember the exact hours, but I think it's 6 to 9 or
I think it was 6 to 9. I think is what we
on
landed
Friday night. That
Yep.
that to me could be one of the best network events because during the day on Saturday you're going to have some intermissions for 15 minutes and lunch, but just 3 hours consecutively bouncing around, it'll be good.
Mhm.
Unreal. Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be good. So that's Friday night. Again, no fee to attend that either. If you're there,
Open bar. Or no, cash bar.
Cash bar.
Cash bar.
Cash bar.
Cash bar.
Unless we
Unless
got a
Ryan's
sponsor.
buying that night. But yeah, cash bar, come and hang out. And, I'm sure that's going to be like the pre get together, just like at the MTEs
Mhm.
where, hey, haven't seen you in forever. Hey, this is Ryan. Good to meet you. So the networking event Friday night is going to be great for sure.
It's a pretty cool spot, right? That we locked down. It's like a cool spot overlooking the casino or something like that.
Yes, there's a room that we have. The last one, I think it holds up to 400 people. We're in that one, but before, if you went to the last one, at the top of the escalator to casino, there was a buffet there. That's gone now, and it's an open room, a drywall wall about 4 foot high, then plexiglass, and you can see down into the casino area. It's pretty cool. There's always lights and music down there, so it's open. It's a pretty cool environment.
Nice. And that was a great casino too, right? The venue itself is a pretty decent place.
Yes.
Very well kept. And all the service was good. We ate at some restaurants there. The bars had good drinks at the bars. So as a whole, I can't express how excited I am for this.
Yeah, there's a great
event.
steakhouse, a great Italian restaurant. There's a sports bar and grill. If you're into the casino, there is a left and a right. Now they merged in the middle and the back, but there's a non-smoking side, which I really like.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so you don't come out, and there's a smoking. If you're smoking, there's a smoking side over there. So
Right.
there's that also. It's really pretty uniquely set up. But one more thing, you mentioned local people there. Another thing, you ever heard the term nuisance storm?
No.
I haven't, but I can kind of picture what
Yeah,
that
I
is.
can too.
I've heard that a lot when a local guy has, I guess there's many different scenarios, but the most part, they have so much going on already with, you might have a dozen dealerships, 2 or 3 technicians and their route, and then a hailstorm hits and they're so comfortable in their business that a hailstorm can make a bad impact in a way because they can't handle it all. And you have other people inside your accounts now fixing. I've seen them say, "Hey, dude, or talking to a dealership and going and look at the cars, and they say, well, we got a local guy, but he said he doesn't want to mess with it." So
Yeah.
it's a shame because now if they're cool with that, they're cool with that. But for a newer company, I wouldn't call it a nuisance storm, but it's an opportunity to not let it be a nuisance storm. You can network with the people down there, find a handful of techs that you can call a company like me to manage it for you, right? I mean, but it's not just a hailstorm. When a hailstorm hits your area, and Gene, you've heard me say this for 20 years, it's a perfect opportunity to increase your business model, because
Yes.
if you're prepared for hail as a local guy, even if you don't think you want to mess with the hail, not only will your accounts be serviced by the technicians that you bring in there, if you're doing it right, it's an opportunity to go expand your business model and reach out to other body shops in the area that might need help. A hailstorm's a great opportunity to increase your business
Definitely.
in the area.
Oh,
Your
for sure.
exposure.
We seem to grow every hailstorm.
Yep.
Yep. Picking up new accounts
If you
here or
do it
there.
right, that happens. If you do it wrong, you can lose accounts.
Well, that's
how we
that's how we pick up accounts, is guys do it wrong, and then
Yeah,
we come in and do it right.
And
Insurance companies work the same way. That's when they lose business, and that's when the ones who pick up the slack gain new business too.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, we were seeing that in this particular storm here in Pittsburgh, for sure. There are some serious balls being dropped by some of these insurance companies and or third party claims handling that are just. I've had so many customers come in that are saying, "Well, that's done. We're changing insurance companies now because that was terrible." Right?
Exactly.
And that's a great way for them to lose business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you're absolutely right, Ryan. Like, to be prepared to be able to handle a local storm, and again, come and get that education here on how to handle that, and then network and meet the people like yourself that, hey, Ryan, we're 3 techs, we're jamming already. We already got all this, and now we've got a storm. What do I do? Bring you in, or a company like yours to handle it, still make some of the action, learn a lot, and more importantly, handle your customers and potentially even pick up new customers.
Yeah, you want to. I always tell the guys to secure, manage, and expand. Secure your accounts. Make sure you let them know that you have it under control. Then manage it, however you do it, and then expand. I will say, over the years, this is just a number. I'd say with all of the people that have called me over the years, I've probably helped 20 to 25% of the people, as far as going in there and creating revenue and working together and making money out of the storm. The other 75%, you don't need my help. You've got that. So you need to call this guy who lives an hour and a half away from you. He's looking. I connect dots for a living. It's kind of what I'm doing at the Hail Expo here. I'm connecting dots as well. But when you do that for a living, you want to make your money when you're needed, right? So
Yep.
a lot of the newer guys, they don't need a huge company. They just need to know other people. And again, meet me, but network with the guys too. There's a lot of guys that are going to show up that don't have local businesses that are really good dudes, that, like your dad, for example. Like, if they were to show up and I had a new company and I met him, next storm, I'm calling Keith and Jeff.
Heck yeah.
I mean, it's how it goes. So yeah, this whole event is just going to be, it's going to be fun. It's also fun. I mean, but there's so much value there. We could talk about it for hours.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So if
when
you
you're
want to come,
when you're talking.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Things I was thinking of when you're talking, even for local businesses and nuisance storms and everything, is like, oh, what's up, Andy?
Andy Patrick.
Yeah. It is local business, like your normal retail business. If you're running a retail shop, Hail is like that on steroids, basically. There's a lot of the same kinds of things that you're dealing with. It might not be like cash jobs or more insurance jobs, but generally speaking, it's like 10xing your business. And yeah, there's a great opportunity to expand your business there, but also think of the things that come along with that too, right? Like, if you do good service, that's 10x the number of reviews that you could also get in order to boost up your opportunity there. And so it's really like comes down to a lot of preparation also. One of the things I learned from a mentor of mine is that problem scale, right? So if you have problems at a small scale and you 10x your business, you're going to 10x your problems.
It's a magnifier.
So it's a magnifier. So one of the cool things about Hail and people who have gone through it is they've got those magnifiers on their business and they've figured out how to do something. And if it works at a high scale, it's going to work at a low scale. Just because it works at a low scale doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work at a high scale.
Yeah.
So it's definitely the nuisance storms, like we talked about, I think really, really valuable to local operations, especially.
There's a
A
little
lot of
shout
guys
out
are a
for
lot
you,
of guys
Noah.
are nervous too. You got to remember what we do. Not everybody is willing to take that leap in the next level of their business. And I was that
Yeah.
guy for a while. I had St. Louis Dent Repair. I called in Kirk Stanton to help me. I had a hail in '03, '04, '05. In 2006, I called Kirk Stanton in because it's stressful. The cash
Yeah.
flow, the technicians coming and going, worried you're going to lose your shop. You don't know what's going on with the techs in there. I made more money using Kirk than I did without him, and he
Mm.
taught me the need for it. So a lot of guys are afraid to take that next step, and that's another thing. You get more confident the more educated you are in your business. So there's that aspect as well. And even if it's a virtual thing, you can gain that from watching the videos or watching
Yeah.
online.
Absolutely.
You'd
Well,
be
like I have
surprised. You'd be surprised when you hear something that you already thought and it's reaffirmed by somebody saying it. Well, I already knew that. Well, now you're more confident in yourself.
Yeah.
exactly.
True.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
One of the things that I stress, certainly with training, and really this expo is not a whole lot different than a training, is that you're either going to pay in money or you're going to pay in time, right? Do you know what I mean? Or, right, you can, to put it different this way, you can fast forward your education, your learning, reaffirm that stuff that's in your head, right, in this 1 day expo. Or you could take the next 3 to 5 years to figure it out, right? Or you can invest in yourself, get your free ticket to the show, hop on a plane, hop in your car, whatever it is, drive to the event and spend the day and fast forward your knowledge, right, overnight. Like
Yeah.
that is so invaluable. Or you can spend a bunch of time trying to figure it out
Yeah.
yourself.
That's a great way to look at it. And when you put it in that kind of perspective, I guarantee you, just in the people who are speaking at the event, and then the other people who you'd meet, I guarantee there are millions of dollars worth of trial and error that have been experienced there that
sure.
that is getting distilled down into a single day. That's going to be like drinking through a fire hose. And it's like, yeah, so do you want to spend your money, your time figuring this out? Millions of dollars and decades of time. So yeah,
Yes.
that's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the truth. So one thing that we do here in not with AAI, but with Dent Repair Now, my repair company, is every time we have a storm, protocol for us is at the end of the storm, we sit back and we really go through and critique ourselves, right? Our goal with every storm is to be better than the last storm. And we've had at least a storm a year, every year since '08. Could be a small nuisance storm, could be a big, 7-figure storm and everything in between. We look back on what we did different. Where were the bottlenecks? How can we change? How can we get better? And we catalog that knowledge every time so we can bring that to the next storm, right? So getting together and listening at these events. I know I'm really excited for your speeches here,
Me
right?
too. Me
To
too.
add to my information catalog that's up here. It's taken us, that's 18 years, 17 years of storms cataloging what I've learned about hail, right? When somebody challenges me with that question that Ryan mentioned earlier, right on the stage, hey, Gene, what would you do here? Right? I'm referencing my 17 years of hail experience of being the local company to answer that question, right?
Yeah,
And that's
flipping
just
through the filing pages.
exactly.
There's not much
Not
you
as
haven't
fast as it
seen.
used to be, but we're getting there. Yeah. But yeah, just the wealth of knowledge. That's a good point with the millions of dollars and decades of experience that are going to be there sharing their knowledge freely is really unreal. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's another thing too. The older PDR guys, the guys that have been doing it for 25 years, a lot of them are set in their ways. But I mean, I'll mention your dad again, Keith, because he's an incredible technician and an even better person. I love that guy to death. But you're also getting all these new guys coming in there. They're popping up everywhere, and they're smarter guys. They're trained better. They're more businesslike. It's almost like they used to take body men and painters and you take them and add them. Those were the PDR techs of the past. Now you're getting people that were not in the body shop business. You're getting guys a little more educated. I'm not saying body men weren't educated, but Back in the 80s and 90s, they were body. They were hardcore blue collar, right?
Yeah.
Now you're getting kids that have graduated college and saying, hey, what do I want to do? And they're seeing PDR. So you're getting some super smart business owners
Yeah.
that are showing up at this event, that the older technicians that are looking to get in better deals with better people, they need to be there to meet the younger business owners. Because I told you, Noah, in 2017 in Birmingham, dude was doing R&I at a Honda dealership and he's on his laptop with a Google Sheet. If you asked me what a Google Sheet in 2023 was, I thought you were making up a name, but he's tracking all of his work production. And I said, one day we're going to be working for that guy. And I just assumed something else, but the guys, there's a lot of intelligence in the younger generation. And I think a lot of the older techs could benefit by networking with them as well.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Shoot, I've met doctors and psychologists and MBAs and every technicians, PDR technicians.
Oh wow!
We got
I believe
all
it. I totally
all
believe it.
across. Yeah,
I
all
got a
across the
pilot.
board, man.
There's a pilot working for me right now, an airline pilot.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's crazy. Yeah. So good stuff.
Yeah, PDR is just a special industry.
Yes.
It's such an anomaly in the trades, right? Forget just automotive, but like in the trades in general, PDR is such an anomaly, and it's so cool to be a part of it and see how it's grown and how it's evolved. Ryan, you were talking earlier about how tools and training have changed. Man, business is a whole different world. When I started this in 2002, I was like, man, I got to get my gun case and this box of metal rods and this fluorescent light and a pickup truck, and I'm set for life, right?
And you hope your van, while you're driving, your light bulb doesn't break in the back.
right.
Yeah.
And now, we've got multiple employees, a brick and mortar location. The technology we need to run this business is unreal, right? It's not a 3-part NCR paper anymore, right? It's laptops and iPads and iPhones and computers and scanning software and scanning systems, and like it's a whole different world. The internet didn't exist as a marketing tool for PDR back then, right? You're talking about you're talking about getting the faxes. The whole world has changed, business repair wise, and it's just exciting to see where it's come, and really
it continues to exponentially every year. It's changing every year, and the vehicles themselves are changing. It's crazy.
Yes, the technology in vehicles today is borderline terrifying.
You
Really,
can pick up. I'll
crazy.
tell you what. You want to have something keep you up at night. Be a business owner that has 7 or 8 guys working for you on a slow year, and knowing they're each touching 2 cars a day, and you don't know the liability on those cars of what they're fixing. You don't know. I mean, one seatbelt left loose. Like you really want to have the best people working with you, and the only way they're going to get better is to keep educating themselves.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, you said something years ago, helping me out on a storm that you didn't come and do. You said, you don't need me. Here's what you do. One of those storms. We're trying to figure out pricing. It was a wholesale gig. And you said, what happens if one of these guys screws up a car and you got to buy the car back? What do you do then?
Right.
And I was like a freight train coming down through the tunnel that hit me square in the forehead. And I'm like, man, I never thought about that. But you're absolutely right. The liability that everybody's open to here is just unreal. And it's all stuff you got to be conscious of, and that's stuff that's going to be talked about at the expo.
Meet the good guys. Find out. Meet these people. If they give you references, too many people say, I don't need your references. No, take their references. Call them up. It's worth it. Listen to the insurance guy. Find out. Tell him, hey, I'm working on 200 cars a year, or I'm a local guy and I have 3 people working on 200 cars a year each. What's my exposure? What's my liability? What happens if a worst case situation? What type of insurance would you recommend so my family is safe and my personal is safe? Do I need an S corp to protect myself? Am I protected? Is it an LLC? Is it both? And you don't even have to ask those questions, because he's going to say, he's going to assume you know what your business model is. And ideally, he's going to say, here's what it should look like for you. Because you got 45. If that's not you, you need to reach out and talk to me. Even if you don't buy insurance from him, you need to know what your exposure is, because there's a lot more than just fixing cars. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Or how many
What
times,
happens?
like you hear it every year where somebody's out on the trail and their tools get stolen and their insurance didn't cover it because they didn't have the right rider on the policy or whatever it is. You know, that's invaluable, right? Everything at this show is going to teach you something to protect you, help you make more money, right? Or make you better at business. Like that's the whole driver right here.
Well, about 10 years ago, Max Van Ostrom, sorry to cut you off, but I don't want to forget that Max Van Ostrom said, you need to have somebody talk about their finances, because these guys, you're taking people with blue collar skills and giving them doctor, wages.
White collar
money.
Yes. Yeah. And people sometimes think they make too much money, but you got to remember, they're sacrificing months away from their daughter growing up, their son growing up. They have expenses at home now. They have expenses on the road also, and you've got a window of 3 to 6 months to make it happen. So you break all that down. I've always told people I make what a really good painter makes in 4 months. And of course you make more than that on good years. But overall you gotta, well, what do you do in 20 years when, what's your daughter, what's going to happen with your family? We've seen so many people in this industry, something bad happen, and you see these GoFundMe's popping up. You make enough money to put a little bit aside and have this wealth guy, best thing I ever did. And I should have listened to Max 15 years ago, whatever it was. I pay him a monthly fee. He keeps track of everything for me. And 401ks. 401ks, if you don't have them, probably seems like a different language. It's simple, man. 401ks, the Roth IRAs, paying your tax quarterly, all that stuff seems like something that's just a huge hurdle to overcome. Listen to the guy. Listen to a different guy. It's really not that hard. You gotta start somewhere. And that's another one. It's not just saving you money, but it's helping you make money at the same time.
Exactly.
So, and I think everybody there is everything here is designed to help. And we're not making money off this event either. Granted, we all are going to promote our products like everybody else does. But I can tell you right now, and I can speak for you too as well. There's something about having a cool project, right? Like, I promise you on December 31st of this year and the next 10 years, all three of us, our businesses are going to do good, because I feel like we're smart enough people to make that happen. Yep. So whether the Hail Expo goes off or not, we're going to have good years. But I think we literally care about the industry enough to put on an event like this. And I think that's where it's coming from, out of the forefront.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yep.
And actually exactly what you said. Sometimes at DentOps especially, we do things just for the sake of it being cool. It's like, it's just there's something about it,
Just fun. You gotta have fun.
Just fun. Yeah.
I like to put a suit on once a year too, and just
I might bust out the sport coat. I'm not going full suit, but I might bring out the sport coat.
No, I might put a blazer on and some jeans this year, but I get to be the first one to talk and the last.
Hoodie. There you go. Classing it up.
You're gonna go Gary Vaynerchuk on us.
That's right. That's right. Well, guys, we are coming up on the hour, and that's it. We try not to take the show over an hour very often.
Sure.
To get tickets, to get your free ticket, all you need to do is head over to, let's go right here, the hailexpo.com, right? Nice and easy.
I think it's just Hail Expo.
Or I'm sorry, yeah, my bad. It says it right on the screen. I misspoke. It's live.
It goes to the same place either way. I think we've got it set up so it goes to the same place either way. So hailexpo.com. Free in-person attendance. You can buy a virtual pass if you can't make it for whatever reason. Or learn more.
Buy a virtual pass. We'll be live streaming.
Can we talk about so we pre-reserved 50 rooms because it was a no-brainer, and I know we've got well over that reserved, but I don't know that everybody's using the code, and if they don't reserve the rooms, we're going to get stuck.
And we're going to have to, then we'll be passing the hat out at the show.
So if anybody has reserved a room for the event already, and if you didn't use the code, if you don't mind, call back and say, hey, this was under the Hail Expo, and give them the code.
We just blasted out yesterday also to everyone who had registered.
Yep.
If we haven't, the last time you guys had checked, it's probably worth checking again over the next days, and we'll send reminders out. But definitely book through the code. Be super helpful for those reservations.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
Yep.
right. If you're coming and you said we are over 25% of the tickets have been reserved.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
So,
Make
guys,
sure it's unique people.
We are 1 month, right? It's June 18th. We're live.
Exactly
This will
what
publish on the podcast thing tomorrow, June 19th. We are 1 month away from the 2025 Hail Expo. Get your free ticket today. Sign up. Lock your room in before we run out of that block of rooms. Get it going, and we really are excited to see you all there. Our Facebook page and event is the Hail Expo 2025, I think is what will bring it up for you. I had it, and then something dinged on my Facebook and it went away. But anyways, go on Facebook, search for Hail Expo, and you can find the event in there. Check it out, and we're really super excited to see all of you there. So, guys, any last parting thoughts before I do my little podcast outro here?
No, I'm just super stoked to go. I know there's going to be already a lot of cool people. So if you want to join the conversation and link up with some heavy hitters, it's going to be the spot.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this and you're going and you see the value, share the information on your Facebook page too.
Mm-hmm.
Get more people interested in it. And if you have any questions, I'm sure if you're listening, one of us three, we're all busy, but shoot us a text. I'm sure all three of us have no problem picking up the phone and talking to you and explaining any questions you might have also.
Absolutely.
Call Gene first, Noah second, and me third.
Hey, whatever. Well, listen, Ryan never answers my calls anyway, so
I
that's
answer your
probably
calls.
good advice. I'm just messing.
All
right. So, guys, upcoming events. Obviously, the Hail Expo, July 18th. The networking event in the evening, 6 to 9. The event itself is the 19th, all day at the casino in the Hollywood Casino in St. Louis, Missouri. All of your info at hailexpo.com. Don't forget the Cam Auto GPR and PDR competition. Yours truly representing the USA as a competitor. That is July 11, 12, and 13. Thank goodness those two did not line up on the same weekend.
Yes.
At Cam Auto in Montreal. I think it's 10 or 15 minutes from the airport. I think I'm flying into Albany and driving up. But anyways, that is going to be a great event. More info on that at Cam Auto Pro. Check all their socials and everything. The PDR Expo is coming up after the Hail Expo
in Vegas.
in beautiful Las Vegas at the Plaza again. 2021, September 20th and 21st. I am also speaking there. I speak Friday and Saturday. Noah, you are speaking as well.
Friday.
And in talking to Sheldon, I've spoken at 2 of the 3. Anyways, we're doing all the education on the floor. They see the value in education. The show is growing. They are leaning more into education. It's going to be more like MTE with dedicated rooms, dedicated times. So they are leaning into education. Us as educators are leaning in to help them do that. So we will be there and representing. Always a good time out there. And it's a smaller event, similar to how the Hail Expo is a smaller event. Great for networking, great for getting together. I recommend you go to all PDR events. Yes. And then, of course, coming up in October, our friends over at PDR College are doing their advanced skills seminar at Anson PDR in beautiful Burleson, Texas. I think those dates are October 8, 9, 10, and 11. It's Wednesday through Saturday. Follow PDR College to get more information on that. And always follow us on social at Auto Appearance Institute and keep an eye out for new stuff. I hope you enjoyed the live podcast. We may do some more of these as we go. And that is it. With that, we are out. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I'm going to hit this end stream, and I will see you behind the scenes in the studio.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening and or watching, everybody.
Appreciate you.
Good talking to you all again. See you next Wednesday on our phone call.
That's right.
Peace.